someone said the other day, please share some positive or good memories that you have from growing up in the Amish community. And I thought about this, and the thing is like I share a lot of like interesting things, fun or facts, what my experience was, some hard things, some funny things, but I also want to re-emphasize that whatever I share is always out of the best intentions and out of education and also fun. So with that being said, I was thinking about some of my favorite memories in the winter time. I'm going to talk about the winter time of things that we did. One of the things that we would do is when it would snow. The snow, some of my favorite memories. And this was in my like young years. I remember that it snowed so much one time that we had over, I don't know, 5 feet of snow, something like that. And we would go outside and we would make tunnels in the snow, literally tunnels. And then we would play under the snow in the tunnels. That's one of my memories. And then we also played these games in the snow at school, where we would use our feet to make like whatever circle game that we were going to be playing. And to be honest, I don't remember what they were called. I know one had to do with the police, and so some of the kids would act like they were the police, and there was like stop signs in the snow. You know how you go out in the snow and you like draw things or whatever? That's what we did at school. We created those games in the snow. But one of my all-time favorite memories is at home. We used to have these sleds that were runner sleds, so you could get on them, guide them. I'm sure you guys know what those are. But what we would do is we would take them to the back of our property and go to some of the biggest hills on our property and go down the massive mountains of snow. But in the the whole time we would have to be dodging trees and bushes, and then we would have to make sure that we braked fast enough to not go into the creek. So we did that with the runner sleds, but we also had a bobsled that could literally fit like 10, maybe 12 of us kids on. So what we would do is we would take this bobsled and we would pull it back, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 of us would pull it back to the back of our property with the big hills, and we would pull it up to the top of the hill, and then we would all get on it and just like fly down the hill. And I know there were so many times that we almost ended up in the creek, but I don't think we ever did. And so those are some of my favorite memories of in the winter when we would play out in the snow. We played so much out in the snow. The other thing that we did is, I remember this from school. So we were not allowed to have actual skates, like shoe skates. We were not allowed to have that. But the way that we would actually be able to go skating on the pond is the people that owned the school, like where the schoolhouse was, they had a pond. And as long as it would hit like 0 degrees or below 0 several nights in a row, the pond would get hard enough for us to sled down the hill and go fly onto the pond, which was amazing and scary all at the same time. But then we would go skating. But here's how we went skating. We would wear typical black shoes, but in order to protect our shoes, we wore what was called outer shoes, which were rubber shoes. So we would wear those rubber shoes over our regular shoes, and it would it prevented our regular shoes from getting wet and cold. So we wear those. But what we would do is these rubber shoes had lots of grip underneath them. But what we would do is we would pick the ones that didn't have much grip. And then we would take that and take those shoes, put them on, and they would go out on the pond that was frozen, and we would skate with these slippery rubber shoes on the frozen pond. And then sometimes the ice would start cracking, and we'd be like, oh my God, we gotta get off. Nobody ever fell into the pond that I'm aware of, but we did have some cracks in the ice. So we were playing a risky life, but it was a lot of fun. So there you have it. Those are some of my all-time favorite memories during the winter of what we did. Oh, one last thing. That was also one of my favorite things about wintertime when it snowed. It was the only time we could make ice cream because we didn't have electricity, so we had the old-fashioned ice cream maker, and that was the only time that we could make ice cream. Maybe I need to make a video about ice cream. That was fun as well. And if you've never had homemade Amish ice cream, you're missing out in life.